Hello everyone, and welcome to the second implementation video for the Summer Activity Guide, focusing on Unit 2, Healthy Life. My name is Rachel Green-Wilbur. I have been working in the field of youth development for about 8 years now, both in the in-school time and out-of-school time setting, and this is my colleague Jennifer.
Hi there, I'm Jennifer, and I have been also working in the out-of-school time arena for about 20 years now. Started on the local level and now write programs. So we're really glad to join you today and walk you through this next set of programs for the Summer Activity Guide.
Great.
So what you have here is the overview that really shows where you're going to access these materials. Now, the Summer Activity Guide is a suite of activities and then wraparound resources that help you implement them in your programs. And they're designed for summer. However, they really can be used at any time of year. They're intended to be turnkey resources, understanding that this was created during the pandemic, where we're all learning to do programming through different modes and in different ways, and we need to make some adaptations, including having fewer supplies and more limited resources. So these are intended to be really turnkey, not require a lot of prep, and easy to implement, and to be able to be delivered through multiple modes. Now, what you see that we're walking through right now are the different age groups at the top. So each of the activities are delineated by age group. Then you can, over the course of the summer, expect around 150 activities and challenges, as well as there are webinars, quick guides, and you see a lot of those supplemental resources on the right here. Everything from resources to support families, safety considerations for virtual program, and everything in between. And on the bottom, you have the unit that's already been released, the Who I Am unit, and that really focuses on getting to know youth and building a strong foundation for your summer programming, followed by the second unit, which was recently released, on Healthy Life. And really this unit is going to focus on, as you see, we'll walk through all the different domains of health and wellness for young people. And then upcoming, which will be released on the dates aligned right here, are units 3, 4, and 5.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. And just a reminder that you can access this at summeractivityguide.org. Please check back at that website regularly because there will be new things added constantly as we are doing more videos, uploading new lessons, releasing new supplemental videos, and doing some of our live Q&A hosting. So summeractivityguide.org, get familiar with it. It has all the great content that you will need. So back to our presentation here. As we said, we are focusing on Unit 2 today, Healthy Life, and this is really focusing on the mental, emotional, and physical well-being of youth. So you'll see a wide variety of topics across the age group that hit on those 3 different categories. As Jennifer mentioned, Who I Am focused on a lot of the social and emotional learning and getting to know you. Unit 3, Passion and Purpose, will be really service learning and community learning based. Then Invention and Imagination is our STEM and arts focused sessions. And then finally, Exploring My World is a lot of our cultural based learning, getting to know your community and the world around you. So a lot to look forward to, but again, today we will be focusing on Healthy Life. So when you're looking at the activities here, you'll see that we talk about both activities and challenges. Each age group has a variety of both these activities and challenges, and they all include extension ideas that you can turn into ongoing projects, or if your youth are really interested in this, ways to make it an ongoing thing that lasts more than just a day or two. Each activity also has discussion questions and adaptations for various content delivery methods. Challenges also have adaptations implemented throughout, but there are no discussion questions in the challenges. But that does not mean that you cannot reflect after these. It just means that they were not intentionally built in there because challenges are meant to be quicker, easier to implement, and ongoing. For example, in the Healthy Lifestyles or Healthy Life unit here, you'll see that we have things like a physical activity challenge where we're asking teens to do physical activity every day for a week. So there's not really built-in intentional reflection there, but that does not mean that you cannot do that if you bring your youth together at the end of that challenge to discuss what they learned and what they experienced that week. But again, each activity and challenge is tied to the theme of that week, of that unit, and all has intentional skill building that is called out in the activity description.
Great. So the purpose of our time today is really to give you a deeper look into this unit, so you'll become familiar and hopefully get an idea of how you can make these activities and challenges work in the practice of your program. So again, each age group has a different set of activities and it's packaged independently. So if you serve more than one age group, you'll want to download more than one guide. For this age group, the 5 to 9-year-olds, this unit has 8 activities and 2 challenges, and those challenges again are the activities that are ongoing and don't have discussion questions, but are meant to be a little more extensive in terms of time frame over time, that is. And these in this unit has 2 challenges, and those are the ones with the asterisks by it. I want to walk you through 2 of these for this age group so you really start to see what they're going to look like in practice. So on the left, we have an activity. It's called Snack Attack. And so note to programs, something to really consider as you're preparing for not just this activity, but all activities, is do your young people have the resources they need, especially if you're facilitating this virtually, to be able to participate alongside you at home. And so a lot of programs are thinking of supply kits and sending those resources home or allowing families to pick those up. And that's particularly important for this activity because it does require some food items. It can be any food items, but it does require access to food items. So young people that may have inconsistent access to food is something you want to think about from an equity standpoint, and maybe sending that snack home so young people can participate. So in this activity, young people are going to take any food that they have, or if you're in person, they can use the snack materials that you have in your program, and they're going to turn it into a new kind of snack by putting those snack items together in a new and creative way. I think this picture kind of shows the idea behind the activity. And so it can be putting together foods that don't usually go together, adding a new twist to an old food, like smushing up a banana instead of keeping it whole, or laying your food out on a plate in a creative way. In this regard, they're kind of inventors. They're designing a new healthy snack. And the idea is that there's some health food behind the snack. And what they want to do is create something that they and their peers would want to eat. If you're adapting this activity, for example, if you're facilitating in person, a great adaptation is to put a bunch of snack foods out on the table together and let kids shop for their items, and then put a timer on it where they're really kind of competing to think about what snack they're going to make. This in person is also a good activity to do in a small group or a pair, because it really helps young people learn how to work together under the constraints of a time frame. If you're delivering the activity digitally or virtually, and you're not there with young people to be able to show or showcase their healthy snack, ask them to take a picture and upload the picture to your program platform, and also to give their healthy snack a name, something creative, and really start to think about why that snack is more fun or more delicious than other snacks. Now, this activity to the other side here called Kidpreneur actually builds off this activity. You can use it as a continuation, or Kidpreneur you can use as a standalone activity. And the premise behind this activity is, let's take the snack that we created and then let's try to act as entrepreneurs and sell our snack, much like a Shark Tank activity. If kids did not create the snack in the first activity, that's okay. They can still participate in the second activity. In fact, they can just draw a snack. They do not have to have a physical snack that they've made. They can come up with a snack on a piece of paper with markers, crayons, whatnot, and then pitch this activity. Now, what's fun about this activity is actually teaching young people how to make a pitch, which is a very effective skill that young people need as they grow in their workforce development. But what they're going to do is they're going to tell about their snack, what makes their snack special, tell who their snack is for, and how much their snack would cost. And you can have them do this in person to a panel of their peers, or you can have it do virtually, and if peers are virtually engaged, they can interact much like Shark Tank too. Now, if delivering the activity in person, you can have youth work in small groups or in pairs, because that can cut down on some of the nervousness or the anxiety that goes along with talking in front of your peers. If delivering the challenge virtually, you can give youth time to work on the pitches on their own, and then you can schedule multiple follow-up sessions where everybody gets the chance to share their pitch. So this goes from being a one-time activity to a multi-time activity if you choose to engage them in that way. Then there's tons of extensions, and these are just a few, but you can have young people create commercials for their healthy snacks. They can create print advertisements for them. They can, now that they've learned how to pitch, they can come up with other inventions to pitch. And I've even included a curriculum that's focused on entrepreneurship that's freely available if your kids are really excited about this. So moving on to the next age group, these are the 10 to 12 activities and challenges. Again, you're going to see some of the same activity titles or challenge titles as you would for the other age groups. They have the same premise of the activity, but they've been adapted developmentally to meet the needs of that age group. So the challenges are the ones with the asterisk again, and I want to walk you through just a couple of these so you can see what it looks like. So the first one I want to tell you a little more about is called Build Your Own Gym. And we all know that young people being at home and sequestered for so much time is definitely taking a toll on their opportunity to be physically active. So we've really tried to incorporate some opportunities across the age groups for young people to get active. So in this activity, young people are going to use everyday objects to make a gym, and all they need is a small space. They can do it on the floor inside. They can do it outside if they have an outside space. But they only really need the size of a twin bed. So clearing an area on the floor that's about the size of a twin bed. They're going to need water bottles. So these kind, the kind that a young person can hold in their hand, they're going to need 2 of these that they can fill with water, and those are going to act as weights. A milk jug, a plastic milk jug that young people can fill with water to act as almost like a bigger weight, like that kettlebell idea that you can lift with 2 hands. A mat or a towel, and that's going to be an area where they can do floor exercises like sit-ups or push-ups, and some masking tape or string or something that they can draw this picture of this ladder on, and they can really create that anything, but that's going to be for like running and jumping and doing cardiovascular exercise. So the focus of the activity is really on building the gym together and then doing a workout together. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You'll see along with the activity, there's a handout and has a pre-designed workout for you. You can split it up, you can do it all together, but the young people really want to try using their equipment in this activity. And then the idea here is that you can use this gym in multiple ways. So you can do the same activity multiple times and have young people track it. You could deliver the activity virtually. Think about those old-timey workout videos where you're all working out together. The entire group could be doing something like that. You could have young people each take and design their own activity and take turns teaching each other or volunteer to lead a workout for each other, or somebody could design it and somebody else could facilitate it. So lots of different ways to adapt and extend this. One of the extensions that I want to talk about is actually on the next slide, and that's going to be a do-it-yourself workout challenge. And so this is a challenge. Again, it's meant to be ongoing, where the other was an activity and they really complete the project right then and there. And in this way, it's going to be, let's use the workout equipment that we created in all sorts of different ways. So an example would be, let's post a different workout every week and then challenge ourselves, either set personal goals for ourselves or set a program goal that we each do the workout 3 times a week. And you can even change the types of workouts you do. So for example, you could just use the floor mat for a workout and just do yoga exercises. But the goal is, let's use equipment that's readily and available and accessible to all of our young people and keep it going while we build a habit over the summer. So a couple adaptations from this one are having youth share ideas for different ways that they can use their different equipment, adding equipment, so creatively together coming up with how do we use other things around the house to add cardiovascular workout or stretching routines, creating a digital workout tracker where young people can track and share their progress together, and really thinking about how as programs we can incentivize young people to continue. So for example, sending home healthy prizes, like if you work out, you meet your goal for the next 2 weeks, we're going to send you home a water bottle that has our program's name printed on it, or something like that, that incentivizes and keeps it going for young people. So that was a snapshot. I know that was a lot. Hope you can see how you can use these activities for these two age groups in the delivery mechanisms that you currently have.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Those sound really fun. So moving on to the teen age group. So first talking about age group 13 to 15. This group has 3 activities and 2 challenges. Same with Jennifer's. You see that there are asterisks next to the 2 that are the challenges. So that's the Let's Get Moving and Self-Care Spinner are the 2 challenges. The other are activities. So we just, again, want to go through a couple to show you some different adaptations and extensions that are possible. For the first one here, we have inside versus outside self-portrait. This is a great activity that really leans into that emotional and mental well-being aspect of the Healthy Life unit. So for this one, teens will draw an outline of their face and draw a line right down the middle, as you can see in the visual on the screen here. On one side of their face, we say here on the left half, it can be whichever half they want to do. They will draw an image, or try to depict their face of how it looks to others and on the outside. On the other half of their face, they're going to draw how they perceive themselves, how they feel on the inside. So, for me, I would have half a face with glasses, my brown hair, my brown eyes. Then on the other half, I would have, traveling and my dog and my partner and work and different things that are passions of mine, things that I love, things that are interesting to me. So this is a really great activity to really showcase the differences between, how you look to others in the world and how you feel on the inside. And there's some really great discussion questions about that you can see here. But what I really wanted to talk about were some adaptations that you can do with this activity as well. So if you're facilitating virtually, teens can create their self-portrait just like this on paper with markers as I described, or they can do this on the computer using a drawing or paint function. They can also use an actual photo of themselves and cut that in half and use half of their face, and then use images from online or from magazines to represent the other half of their interests, their passions, what they're like on the inside. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this with multiple different mediums. So there doesn't have to be limited just to drawing. You can use a computer, you can use other images. Also, if facilitating digitally, a staff member could create a pre-recorded video showing off their own self-portrait as inspiration for the teens. And this is also a great session to have a follow-up meeting. If you're doing this virtually, then you can have that first meeting where you explain the activity, you give them a couple of days to do this, but then you make sure that you meet again as a group to reconvene, because this is something that teens really would love to share and would have a lot of great time talking about, and that can lead to a lot of great discussion. So if you can create any kind of venue where teens can reconvene and talk through their own self-portraits, that would be a great addition to this activity. And then finally, some extensions. You can do this for your entire body, not just your head. And then there's also some really cool ideas. Right here, we're talking about inside versus outside. You can also do this with half and half for your future self and your present self, or your past self and your current self. There's lots of different ways that you can do this to show comparisons. So there's that one, that's the inside-outside self-portrait, very fun activity. The next one that I'll move over to is the self-care spinner. This is another mental and emotional well-being activity in this unit, where we are trying to teach teens different self-care and coping mechanisms. So it can be really hard to find time to pause and take a break during the day when things are stressful or you're working on schoolwork, especially with things going on right now. So we just wanted to build in time for youth to reflect on what actually brings them a sense of calm or peace, what can allow them to center themselves and really take care of themselves mentally and emotionally. So we're asking youth to, or teens to think of at least 8 different self-care activities that you can do really quickly. We want these to be like 5-minute self-care challenge ideas. That could be something like just stop and get a drink of water, take a little stretch break, text a friend, watch a YouTube video with a cute dog in it, anything that can really make you feel better when you're feeling stressed out in the moment. And right here we have showing you that you can make this using paper and then, a split pin or paper fastener and a paper clip. It's a really simple way to make a DIY at-home spinner. But the main thing I wanted to talk about with this adaptation is, Jennifer mentioned we really try to keep these low budget, low cost, and low supply. So if you don't have, or your youth don't have access to these different types of pins and paper clips, that does not mean they cannot do this. There's actually a ton of different websites where you can build digital spinners. I just selected one here. You can see superhero or superteachertools.us. There's a lot of different ones where you can create spinners. I'm going to just show you what that looks like. I'm actually going to go to a spinner building website for a second. And so you'll see here, this is a spinner builder. So you can go down and I can actually change the name. So I can make it the self-care spinner. And then I can add my different things. So take a walk, listen to music, add in whatever I came up with as my ideas, and then repopulate. You can choose your color scheme even too, which is really fun. And then you can update the spinner. Obviously I didn't do all of them, but just to give you an example. And then you can, spin your spinner and it'll land on your ideas. So a very simple way to make sure that youth can still participate in, regardless of having the correct materials for that physical spinner or not. Another quick idea for this is, these were supposed to be really quick self-care ideas. If your teen has more time, they have 30 minutes or an hour for self-care, they can make a second spinner for when they have a longer amount of time to dedicate to self-care. That can be things like, going on a run, exercising, calling a friend, watching an episode of your favorite TV show, anything like that. So they can have two spinners, one that has short-term ideas and one that has some longer activities. And then moving on to our last age group here, our older teens, 16 to 18. You'll see here there's actually 2 activities and 3 challenges. Some of them are similar in theme, as Jennifer mentioned. They build off of the same topics, but they are more developmentally appropriate for this older age group and have a little bit of differences in the nuances and in those extensions and adaptations. So you'll see here that the 3 challenges are reflective journaling, let's get moving, and self-care 101. The 2 that I want to go over here are Pantry Chef and Let's Get Moving. So Pantry Chef is actually very similar to Jennifer's Snack Attack lesson, but obviously adapted to be appropriate for this much older age group. So again, this does require youth and teens to have access to food supplies. We try to make it very inclusive here, that teens can use truly anything that they have around the house, but a great way to ensure equity across here is, if you can, sending home food packages with teens if you are going to be doing this virtually or digitally or in a take-home manner. So again here, teens will be looking through their pantry, refrigerator, freezer for any items that they think that they could make a fun snack out of. We're going to try to make them healthy. And then we want them to come up with 2 to 3 different healthy recipe ideas. So they're going to experiment, come up with these different snacks, do a taste test either by themselves or with friends and family members. And then once they can make any tweaks based on the feedback they get from their taste testers. Then we want them to actually write up the recipe to save for future use or to share with others. So some adaptations here. As I mentioned, if you're facilitating in person, pre-purchasing various healthy ingredients for teens to use during this activity is a great start. And then making sure that teens with limited access to food in their home have some way of acquiring food either from your program or in a different manner. There are several different extensions that you can do for this activity, such as working on plating skills. So you're making your snack social media ready so that it's pretty and gets a lot of likes and all the fancy plating that you get at a fancy restaurant. You can also start a recipe chain. So you can have teens pick their favorite recipe that they come up with, send it along to a friend, their friend sends them a recipe back and then forwards it on. So kind of like one of those email chains that we all used to get back in the day. There's also ways to compile either recipes from your entire group, so getting all the teens' recipe books together, or recipes together to create a cookbook, or compiling family recipes. This is a great way to get conversations going with their families about their favorite recipes and making sure that those are written down so that teens can have those as a keepsake and know how to make their favorite recipes going forward. So a lot of really fun extensions here. You can also do food art where you make, you can make your sandwich look like a fish and do all different sorts of things to make the food look like something other than what it is. And then the last one I want to go over here is Let's Get Moving. This is a physical activity challenge. It's a challenge because it can truly go on this could go on the entirety of the summer if you wanted. This could be an overarching lesson or challenge that you do with teens. It's designed right now for 1 week. But it can truly be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, however long you want it to be. It's a really simple activity in that you're really just asking teens to come up with a checklist of at least 7 different physical activities they want to try. So this could be anything from as fun as learning a new TikTok dance challenge, to setting a goal of walking 10,000 steps a day, to going swimming if they have access to a pool, riding a bike if they have the ability to, going on a hike or a walk in their neighborhood, anything that is of interest to them. You can push teens to try activities that they've wanted to do but haven't been able to before. I think a perk of this time is that a lot of personal fitness instructors are putting their classes online for free. So teens can have access to yoga classes, Pilates classes, Zumba classes, all different types of things, interval training that they might not have been able to access for free before. So I actually do have in the extensions at the bottom here a list where you can see there's a lot of different options that teens can look at. You can also have teens just search on their own for different home workouts that they're interested in. So again, if facilitating in person, and teens will be doing this physical activity as a group, one thing to keep in mind is just making sure that all teens have a say. Some teens are really into running. Some people never want to run a day in their life. So just making sure that everyone has equal say if you're doing this as a group. Again, if you're doing this with teens virtually or digitally, really encouraging them to access a park or local outdoor gym or recreation center if they do have access to those facilities in their community. If teens are looking for more inspiration, again, I said they can look for those online workouts, but they can also share ideas with their peers and with their friends to see what they've enjoyed doing. Maybe that's a good way to get some inspiration and change up your workout routine. And since this is a challenge, and if you are doing this virtually or digitally, you're not having those touch points with teens to remind them they need to get those 60 minutes of physical activity in every day. This could be a great time for you to record little motivational videos that you can send along to them, quick reminders that you text them or send them in a message of some sort. But that's another way for you to just get that touch point with them a couple times a week to remind them to keep going and to finish out on this challenge. And then some just additional extensions. If you want to add a little bit more instruction around this, you can add to this challenge by instructing teens about the importance of staying hydrated, teaching them different stretching techniques and cool down techniques. There's a ton that you can add to this to make it your own and make sure that it fits your teens.
Thank you, Rachel. And we want to encourage all of you to do these activities alongside your young people. There's nothing that makes young people more enthusiastic and more engaged than when you are also participating, can show your product, can raise your challenges, can reflect along with young people. So if you want these activities or the other unit that's currently available, plus all the wraparound supports, there is even intro training sessions available, webinars available right over here on the right, getting to know the summer activity guide and tips for keeping youth engaged through digital, virtual, and other modes of engagement. All of this is available at summeractivityguide.org. You can expect new units every 2 weeks, and so those dates are available for you upcoming. The next unit will be out after Healthy Life on June 29th, and that will be the Passion and Purpose. So look for that upcoming. And if you have specific questions, you need to tailor something or target your young people in your program, you have specific challenges, or you have just general program questions, how are other programs solving X, Y, and Z this summer, please think about joining us for our live Q&A. And that's where we really answer your targeted questions, both about the resources and just challenges and issues and creative solutions for this summer. So we look forward to seeing you again and hope that you really enjoy and are able to use the resources we're creating. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Remember, summeractivityguide.org. That's where you'll find all these videos, all of the great resources, and you'll find more videos just like this one in that download area as well. But again, thank you all so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you for the next implementation video.